Hello and welcome to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. This week we're putting out a live episode that we did in Cork with Roger O'Sullivan a couple of months ago, because Roger, he came on with us and he had such a good time. He decided to start his own podcast with another great comedian, Dennis Len. So for each episode of Unexplained Legends, the two lads are living together over in London, and much like myself and Jason, I guess, Roger is more conspiracy-minded, and Dennis is more sane. So Roger's researched all the big conspiracies, and he tries to convince Dennis of its validity. They launched the first episode there the other day on the moon landing, the classic, one of the biggest conspiracies of all time. So if you enjoy Roger in this episode and you want to check out more of his show, there'll be a link for it in the description of this episode. And if you enjoy the whole feeling of live episodes, then you can come see us live. We've got 2 more shows left. We'll be in Dundalk in the jail talking about the 1922 Dundalk jailbreak next Friday the 13th of May. And then we'll be doing our 100th episode, 3rd birthday anniversary special with Donald Fallon on the 19th of May. And that'll be in the Wild Duck. And we just decided during the week that we'll be doing that about James Joyce, the most Dublin man that there is. So there'll be tickets to both of those in the description of this episode as well. And also, if you like these live episodes, the rest of them are up on the Patreon behind the paywall. So you can head over there if you want to listen to more of them. We just put up the episode that we did in Mullingar about Joe Dolan, which is a lot of fun. So all the live episodes are up there, as well as all the bonus episodes that we've done, the cowboy specials, and the film club stuff. Myself and Jason watched War of the Buttons the other day, and it was class. But that's going to be the next episode that'll be up next week. So, yeah, go listen to Roger and Dennis's Unexplained Legends. Go see us in Dundalk or the Wild Duck. Or go over to the Patreon. Or do all 3, It's your life. But for this week's episode, here's a story all about John Philpot Curran, the lawman.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. History and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall.
Follow me now as we go back in time. Retrace the steps of Irish lineage to find Joseph from Carlisle and Kevin Dundalk. Guide you through the ways of Shite.
Jason purposely didn't wear his glasses for this, to give you a chance to tell the 3 of us apart. I thought it would be a bit too much. We read a blog about diversity the other day. We're like, one glassed man, that's what they need. Roger's going to pretend to be a Protestant as well for diversity.
We don't know Roger that well, he might be.
I'm not, don't worry.
I thought that's why you moved to London.
I'm in the process of applying for Protestantship.
Oh yeah?
They haven't gotten me yet though.
Is that why you're drinking water?
No, that's just because I just want to be the smartest person on stage tonight.
Listen, you're already there. Well, so who is here because Roger is with us?
There we go.
Excellent.
Look
yes.
We just want to know how much you're paying afterwards.
Yeah, I like your credit is a putting hands up credit. That's very on brand for you, actually. Anyone else should have been like, woo! But the Roger Sullivan fans like, yes. I bought my ticket 17 weeks in advance. And I'm sitting 4 rows back, even though I was here 20 minutes early. It's lovely to have you anyway.
Yeah. Anyone not from Cork in the house?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was brave putting your hand up to the rapturous booze.
More brave than those currently Roger O'Sullivan fans. Where are the non-Cork people from? Tip. That does count technically.
Anyone not from a bordering county?
Leash. Oh, okay.
America, that's not even a county.
Is that legal? Whereabouts in America? Sorry, Leash. This is your big moment. Yeah, it's your big moment to shine. Whereabouts in Leash are you from? anyone bloody knows. Portlaoise. Abbey Leaks. I do know that one. Ah, it's that's where Julian Assange put all those files.
I was going to say Abbey Leaks. You should get that checked out. We're in America. Ohio. That is.
Yeah, the flyover states.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Are Slipknot from there? Is that? No? Yeah? Yes? Cleveland, Ohio?
That's up in the north.
Yeah.
I'm from south.
Okay, well,
Oh, you fucking idiot.
I was trying.
Look how stupid you are.
Wow.
You didn't get...
You go back to Abbey Leaks.
Don't you know that, Jason?
Leash's biggest town is Portlaoise. It's not even near the coast. What are you at? Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, that's all the crowd work material done now.
Well, look, as we're meant to ask, who here has never heard the podcast before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jesus!
What the fuck?
Oh.
So I'm going to guess your friends dragged you. Yeah, she just pointed at her. If it goes wrong, you need to run.
Some mad woman from Ohio showed up with a megaphone and was like, "Get in there, fucking!" I don't know if it's Coughlin's or Colin's, but you're getting in there. Is your mic doing a bit of reverb there, Roger?
My mic.
I whispered as if I wasn't speaking into a mic there.
Oh, what do people think about my mic?
That's
It's fine, yeah.
It's kind of mysterious though.
Mysterious.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Is it this thing? Is it the little like?
Bit of a pop
It's putting on a bit of a show, you know? It's dressed up in a hat.
Everything Roger says is like it's from the Twilight Zone. It's just adds an element. That's why we have him on stage. That element of allure to it.
I think why that might be is that I got a flight over at 5 in the morning, and I hadn't slept, and I still haven't slept. So, if anything I say at any point appears like it is from a dream,
Okay.
it is because I'm currently in a state of waking sleep.
Yeah. That's some great groundwork now next week when you're trying to defend all the racist stuff you said tonight. I was asleep and
I had a very racist dream.
I know another fellow who had a dream once and you let him go.
Sorry, that's a real Prendeville excuse.
Oh yeah. I don't know who that is. Does he write books?
He's like a Cork DJ who still managed to find work after he wanked off on an airling.
Oh, I do remember that guy.
Tell me
Yeah.
more.
He was saying
Yes.
you read a car magazine. No
What?
comments. No
Yeah, well, why do they sell Zoo magazine in the airport fucking lounge? Answer me that. You can't, nor can Neil Prendergast.
Prendeville.
Yeah, that's really why Roger's here for the local flavour. Yeah.
I'm pretty much just translating. So, so a wank is when you.
I thought he said yank. Is a fucking.
Well, they're in the audience.
Oh yes.
I already showed up my lack of
We're
geography
cooking now.
skills.
We're cooking
Well,
now.
there we go. And what about you? You were in the fancy seats. This is the equivalent of the gallery. No. You're all Cork locals. Is that how you got the good tickets?
No, we're with you on the Fight Club. Your
Oh,
Fight Club.
My fight club, yeah. See, I thought for a second, are you wearing a cardigan?
I'm wearing a cardigan.
For a second it looked like braces.
Yeah.
And I've never, in my estimation, like how somebody would do in a fight, did they drop so quickly. It's been like, Jesus, this guy's fucking got, he's like nearly, he's ready to take me, and then all the cardigan.
You're okay.
Yeah. you look like a local David Lynch. Kind of.
That's good.
Yeah. That's a lovely look, right? I'm hoping to age into David Lynch territory at some stage, you know. Not with any of the talent, obviously.
Great grey hair.
Yeah.
That's
Now, I
your-
can hear the reverb as well.
Asher, listen.
Sure, look, it's too late. I'm going to turn Roger up a little bit, because we tend to yell because we've had 2 pints before we started.
So that's your dream, is just to have people come up to you at some point in your life and be like, you look an awful lot like an old David Lynch.
Pretty much, yeah. But
Yeah.
by that stage, David Lynch will be dead.
And you can take over as.
They'll go, you look like you're living David Lynch.
You'll move to Mulholland Drive and just wait at the end of the road every day, hoping someone will say it.
Is that Is that in...
That was one of his films. I don't know where it is though.
Oh, right.
Probably in America.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's not in Leash anyway.
This is all scripted, lads.
Yeah. Well, Jason's taking away the iPad now, so we're floundering. But well,
sorry, I was just going to say, so you can tell the caliber of guest that I am based on the fact that when I turned up, I spent most of my time sorting this out for the lads.
yeah.
And I couldn't do it, I dispersed all your eardrums. And then...
Who needs good audio when you can sound like a ghost?
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing wrong with haunting the stage every now and again. Just a little localised haunting. But then when I was looking for... Now, I'm not one of those divas, you know. I have pretty meagre means. I rocked up outside and I said, can I get a glass of water with a wedge of lemon in it, if you wouldn't mind? And oh yeah, no wedge of lemon. And I went, oh, consider wedge of lemon. Just looked straight over me. So maybe I'm a ghost, actually. Maybe I just took somebody's water.
Yeah, there's someone out there looking for their water.
Somebody out there just has a wedge of lemon.
Some poor man's fainted out there and he's looking for a glass.
Yeah.
And someone saw the apparition flow away. Well, if you give it up in the audio and we'll just do the story.
No, I fixed it.
Ah, bollocks, you have.
Did you fix it? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, well, say it.
I've no authority anymore now. It's gone.
Okay, we need one person from the audience to stand right beside the reverb whenever Roger wants to talk.
But she'd been dead for 4 years.
Woo! No, it doesn't work with the reverb. Do you think ghosts have reverb pedals? I've never thought of that before. Or what if you had a ghost haunting like a drum room in a studio? Does that just sound very unimpressive? Is it just really packed in? Boom!
And they're constantly just being like, just a little more on the mic there, it's a bit too nasally.
You're like, boo, how's that? Is that better? Oh, I thought the first one was spookier myself.
But if you were a ghost, you would haunt like a record studio instead of like the house that you died in. That's fucking morbid even for a ghost.
Wait.
If you were murdered in a house, you wouldn't stay there the rest of your ghostly days haunting it. You'd go somewhere cool like Disneyland.
I've always thought that the reason why there aren't so many poltergeists in Ireland is because of Irish fathers. Because if there was a ghost in my house, just turning on and off the lights, my dad would go, "You fucking Egypt! That you'll blow the bulb!" And the ghost would just never express itself ever again. That's why you do stand up anyway.
Yeah. I can turn on and off as many lights as I want, Dad.
Just bring it on. Go fuck you! You fucker!
Class.
Yeah.
Coolest
None of this is part of the podcast.
Oh yeah. Would you want to do an introduction then?
Hi, we're Shy Talk.
Yay.
Hello! And welcome to Shy Talk, an Irish history podcast.
Nice.
And that's where the recording will begin.
Class. 17 minutes in.
Are you joking me? I'll have to read you all that script. So I have to think about ghosts.
Don't you hate light switches?
Fucking hell.
Great A.
I like to do one of those swinging things with the microphone.
Yeah.
So, for the listeners, we're in Collins, Colin.
Sorry, it hurt me to say when you said Collins.
That's okay. Well,
Sorry, lads, I don't listen to the podcast much. Is he a member?
Can you see him? I thought he was a ghost. Every time I did Ed, he called me out.
No, actually, we would be dead without you so far. So, what's your name, sorry?
Jerry.
Jerry, love to meet you, Jerry. Here you go, you can take.
Jerry.
I've heard that way too.
Oh yeah, it's because you keep chanting it in the mirror every morning. Today's gonna be your day, Jerry.
Stop doing paternity tests. But, alright, so that's our intro.
They're happy.
Sure. Sure, some of you know us, some of you don't. You're going to get more acquainted with us over the next hour and a half, 2 hours or so. We've got a local story.
Sorry, Ohio, you're gonna have to fucking get the next one.
Yeah, no, I was kind of just impressed by how happy people from Cork are about everything. Yeah, just like local. What?
I wouldn't be like Cork people to obsess over Cork. we got fucking stuck in a queue for half an hour to change our money to Cork euros earlier on. Luckily, a nice fella came up and did us a good deal.
That's why I met the lads.
Yeah. Is your Dublin euros won't go far down there, mate. I'm going to take that lad to fucking...
Jesus, don't take that off you.
You're lucky you had me or someone could have caught you.
You should go in there and get some Beamish. I'll sort this.
What is the overall feeling? Give me a cheer for Beamish. And what about Murphy's? Not as much. What's wrong with Murphy's?
Pints of harp.
Oh, I'm learning here now.
Beamish is like 50 cents cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus
Taste
Christ.
nicer too.
Okay.
That's not what we're asking. It's specifically...
Jerry's leading in the pint department there. He knows the way to our hearts, I think.
Which is pints of Beamish. There will be a halftime break.
Yes.
That's just, we will take pints if you do want to. Or I want to test Murphy's and Beamish.
Live on stage.
Yeah, well, I know I could just do that whenever, but
Yeah,
also
yeah.
just so we can get free pints.
Of course.
I also will want to test that.
Yeah.
Despite having lived here most of my life.
But he said it like a man dreaming of tasting all the cuisine of Paris. You've been here all day. You could buy the pint yourself. We've been drinking Beamish for 2 hours.
That's a good point.
It is a good pint.
Yeah.
That's sort of, for anyone unfamiliar with the podcast, that's the sort of level of witty banter
That I would edit out.
Yeah. Like it's left on the editing floor.
Well, sure, right, look, you might as well tip into it, so.
Yeah.
That's right. I was going to say everyone should turn their phone on silent. I just realized because I got a text there as what's happening.
Although, if anyone wants to use their phone to take photos, please send them to us because we don't have any.
And if anyone wants to record any sections at any point put online, can you wait until we say something inflammatory?
Yeah. I'm not trying to defend blackface, I'm just saying I want to be able to do it. I don't care about the rest of them.
You want to do it to mimic blackface people.
Yeah, it's an ode to minstrels.
Yeah.
My favourite chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, no more of that then.
Right, we edited it to 21 minutes, gone.
Yeah, or else we're going to be gone like the two Johnnies. I know, we haven't even got to RG yet. We need to get...
We're meant to be cancelled before they actually did anything.
But, born in 1750 in a place called Newmarket, Cork. Roger?
Yeah, familiar with it. Driven through that a few times.
He's worth every penny.
Any Newmarket people in? Good.
Shithole.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
That's more of an original market credit.
But I believe that is a place in County Cork. This man was, John Philpot Curran was born into a modest Church of Ireland family.
A modest one, it still means they own a mansion.
That's
still.
when I was researching it, every time I came across the phrase modest Church of Ireland family, it was within quotation marks.
Yeah. You've got a summer home and a winter home, but no spring or autumn.
Well, we might have an idea what the idea of modest means. So Curran, the surname, originally came from Curran, a more common English name, which would make sense as his ancestors came over to fight for Cromwell and then settled in Derry/Londonderry.
It was Derry before they got there.
Over in London now, I call it Derry London.
Yeah. And not one of them understands that, I say.
No, they don't. They just throw change at me.
Yeah.
Oh, just making sure. Yeah, that's.
So we're just getting all the laughs in.
Yeah,
So,
I can't go
when
on.
you listen to this, it's going to be snap, snap, snap. Like, people at home are going to be going, "Geez, these lads are fucking intimidating." They're intimidating me quick. People here are like, "Yeah, do you know that hour-long podcast you listen to? 4 hours from now." They stop after every lad. They eke every half out of it. And
Well,
then they
no,
go, "That's that."
It's because we've done some gigs now in Dublin, and then we've done some down the country. Like I'm from Curran over near Kilkenny. We've gone there, and there's a very big difference between people who have inside voices and manners. Because a lot of my friends thought it was an interactive podcast, which it can be. Just raise your hands like Rogers fans.
Unless you're Jerry, you have special dispensation.
But no, feel free if I'm wrong about anything, which I will be, just scream and we will ignore it. But so yeah, he was born into a fairly rich family now. He's
What happened to the modesty? They were only being modest about that.
they were on board. I'm cutting all of those parts out. His granddad had moved to Cork. Does that make him a Cork man? How many generations do you need to be?
Yeah.
Okay, glad I left that in there. That's divisive.
As a rough, because I met my friend of mine brought her girlfriend over from Germany there recently, and we were talking about blow-ins, and she was saying, actually it was the Sofia Desconte Ponte podcast she'd been listening to. She said, what they keep talking about blow-ins, like what's a blow-in? How do you spell blow-in to German? It's even to like the American. Have you?
I get it.
Yeah, but like they do you. I mean, I don't. You can live in a place for 6 generations and people will still be like, there's the leash man. There he is now.
Germans in particular, it's a tricky one to talk to them about blow-ins because they just went grabbing people in. That's the opposite. They're like, "You're German, yeah, you're part of us now."
Yeah. They tried to forget it was East and West Germany, but in recent years, I suppose.
Well, let's keep the history chronological. We're way before anything.
Right. It's back in the good old
and
days.
this time, the emergency hadn't even happened yet. So his father, James Curran, was the seneschal of the local manor court. And no, I don't know what that means either. I think steward or senior guard. But his mother was a Sarah Nee Philpot. She said to have been a woman of culture and would regale John with stories of Irish history and legend throughout his childhood. He had some siblings, but they didn't go down in history, so we'll move on.
They never went down on people. Straight off.
Is that what they say for Cork people?
Yeah.
It is.
We're very much an above the waist.
Does it include dancing as well?
Yeah.
The opposite of river dance.
We just run off each other and pollinate.
He would have grown up a good country lad, speaking both Irish and English. He was a rambunctious little scamp around the town of New.
That's such a lovely detail. He was definitely rambunctious.
That was the only thing they all agreed on. In all the records.
Yeah. Cross-reference.
Yeah.
Citation needed on rambunctious.
I could have said scallywag.
Also acceptable.
Yeah, more acceptable.
A scamp.
A scamp.
A gurrier. What's the Cork term? What would you call a scallop? That's food.
Did someone say a langer? That's a different thing altogether.
We're not allowed to say that. That's your word. We can say langa, but even still we'll get dirty looks.
A fiend.
Yeah. That's fair enough. He's a gomy old fiend.
Yeah.
Okay, gomi.
Gomy, yeah.
Okay. Did someone say what's a gomi?
I said what's going to mean.
Oh, that's very hard.
That's the same question.
Yeah. If you were to do a dictionary of like, just Cork lexicon in general, but any Irish lexicon, it would just be one entry after entry where the description would be, actually, you kind of know yourself. Actually, kind of like, pure. Sure, you know.
I can't explain langer, but I know one when I see one.
In that case, you actually would know one when you saw one.
That is true, yeah.
But a likeable young lad who was intelligent but preferred to learn through living rather than books.
That's a Facebook status.
Yeah.
That official mad basket.
The historical version.
Yeah. street smart, not learning.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
It's fancy book learning. Yeah, so now lucky for him, given his modest background, thankfully a local gentry takes a shine to him as a youth and gives him an early education before setting him up to attend Middleton College, or Middleton School, in Middleton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Driven through it again.
It's roughly the middle of court. They're like, what do we call this? Middleton.
Whenever I'm back, I just drive through generic places in Cork just so I can, in case I'm asked.
Just in case, because it will come up now.
Yeah, have you ever been to? I've driven past.
Cove?
Cove? No.
It'll always be Queenstown to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up in this podcast.
I
I'm
just
just checking.
I just get very upset about the whole, what they did to the Titanic and all that.
And the Lusitania. And probably the rest of them.
Like, nobody's ever looked into it, but lads, we clearly fucked them up. There's
so
like 3
proud.
times in a row that's a pattern,
But in Belfast, they're so proud of the Titanic. And then they just take the blame that they're like, we must have fucked up somewhere along the way.
That's the Northern Irish way.
So the man, the gentry, who took him in under his wing, taught him, and then sent him off to school, his name was Nathaniel Boys.
Yeah, that is a fake
Boys,
name.
but-
Yeah. I'm Nathaniel Boys. Don't ask
Boys
what
by
I'm-
name, boys by nature.
Yes.
Hold on. I didn't give him his full name.
Boys the name, boys the game.
So, Reverend Nathaniel Boys. Yeah, non-determinism. It's great. So he took to the books well, and by the time he'd reached the age of college, he found himself Dublin bound, en route to Trinity.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm not technically from there.
Why didn't he stay here?
Because he had free education.
What, UCC isn't free?
I don't know. Is UCC like a
3 grand a year.
Catholic.
Catholic?
They are Catholic.
Okay, well that's.
Those boys weren't educated in the 1750s.
But I'm not educated now.
Exactly.
But so he goes up to Trinity, where he gets interviewed by Reverend Charles Bunworth, who's said to be.
How is this bun? It worked. And forever you shall be known as Bunworth.
But he was said to be so impressed by the young man that he
I'm
made.
surprised you didn't mention his rambunctious nature.
He's rambunctious.
Yeah.
By God, he gets the job done.
Yeah.
He said he's a toe rag, but he's our toe rag.
Yeah.
He was so impressed with Curran that he made sure to get him financial assistance to attend the school, so scholarship completely free. Now, I looked at a little bit of sleuthing. I went into it and I clicked on his Wikipedia page and found out that he was his uncle. And that doesn't come up in the history books when you're reading that.
And did that happen before or after he gave him the scholarship that he was his uncle?
Yeah.
How
Is that like-
would that work?
Yeah. Was he like his biological uncle, or was it sort of like the parents got divorced and there's a new man hanging around and he's Uncle Bunsworth?
Yeah. You remind me an awful lot of Nathaniel Boys.
Yeah.
It's the same man, but he's a mustache later. It's the kind of the me to Kevin pipeline.
Yeah.
Jeez, we're never going to get through this.
Every sentence is in 2.
I'm 2 paragraphs into 8 pages.
I'm flying back Sunday, just so you know. So if we can get it done before that.
We'll do a whip around for the babysitters.
So he would enter Trinity on scholarship as a César, Sizer. They would clean mess halls, serve food, sweep the yards, etc. They wore coarse, black, sleeveless robes and had and they didn't have tassels on their hats. That's how you know, that's how you know a liner. He's walking around without his tassel.
Often a time I'd forgotten my tassel and I would have been ribbed, honestly. The jibes that would have been given to me in school when I forgot my tassels.
There's still parts of Cork you can't walk down without being called tassel boy.
Yeah.
Would you be getting those jibes by lads called pensioners?
Yes. For the sake of brevity, yes.
That's a group, they are basically regular students in Trinity back in the day, pensioners. And then you've got the third group called fellow commoners, which were the people who paid double fees and left school a year early while having the Caesars be their slaves for the 3 years.
And that was the common man.
Yes.
Jeez, we've fallen off, haven't we, lads? That used to be the common man in Ireland, but now...
You wouldn't find someone walking around Trinity now pretending to have no money while actually being loaded secretly.
But he would work well up in Trinity, get good grades, but not be a giant fan of the old public speaking due to a speech impediment. I believe the doctors called it being from Cork.
We need to get out of here live, guys. It's steady on.
Enough of those now.
Tread carefully.
He was expected to go into the church, but most of his time in Trinity was spent studying law. While his studies did include divinity and religion, he only ever wrote 2 sermons. One he read out himself because he had to as part of his classwork, and the other one he gave to his friend to read aloud. His name was Dick Stack.
Before we go on to Dick Stack, I love the idea of law degrees, including divinity. Your Honour, I believe the guilty party shall be found by this stick I've picked up from outside. And he just starts fucking holding the rod around the place.
And well, I didn't know that there was such a vibrant sermon open mic community as well. Lads going up with their different sermons.
But they don't really pay attention to what's happening on stage. They're kind of reading their own sermons, getting ready.
Yeah. This is very...
I realise that it's very inside comedy.
Yeah.
Any comedians in the crowd?
That was just for us, lads.
Most of this is in fairness.
Yeah.
I was at Dick Stack.
I'm sorry I cut across.
Back to the serious podcast.
I'm sorry I cut across the grade A's Dick Stack material. We could have went off on that for 20 minutes.
So about Dick Stack, he's in this just because of his name. Now, that's the last time we'll hear of him. So Curran was a bit too much crack for the church. He was described as the wittiest...
Is this where he gets his rambunctious? No?
We're based rambunctious.
Okay.
Right.
There we go.
I don't know that. I wish I hadn't have said rambunctious. And I know that's
I'm
it's not
delighted you did.
I wrote that down for some reason. I wrote it down.
We put that to bed now. I won't.
No, I think we should. How many more things in this have you put in quotes, but you actually just made up yourself?
We know the secret now, lads.
Where did I go? Ah, yes.
Dick Stack.
That's our save point. But always back to there. Yeah, he was a bit too much crack for the church. He was described as the wittiest and dreamiest, the most classical and ambitious of the scamps of Trinity College. See? Scamps.
There we go.
That sounds like a fucking Tinder bio. That's But he's too much crack. He was too dreamy, witty, charming. I couldn't educate him. His eyes were too deep blue. Damn him!
He's the 18th century Tinder swindler.
Yes.
Get
him out of my sight. You may as well call him jailbait.
And I got him at Newmarket, but he was actually in Middleton as well. Never there.
He was a man of the people, a man of the town and the gown. After a stint in King's Inn, Dublin, he attended the prestigious Middle Temple in London, where he soon picked up the nickname Stuttering Jack Curran, due to his speech impediment, which I believe the medical term in England was called being from Ireland. Incurable. He managed to rid himself of it though by reciting Shakespeare and Bolingbroke into a mirror. The second one was an English politician. No, I didn't know either. Okay.
No.
Yeah. He was also very short, had boyish features, was a high-pitched voice. Just to give a full description and to allude to everything we were saying earlier about a Tinder bio, it was him writing it himself.
Yeah.
I can also see why the Catholic Church kept him around for so long. He's legal and boyish features, high voice. Now, the little film will be called the business a loophole.
He's in Trinity studying what now? Law. No! So even when he fixed his stutter...
You were supposed to be the chosen one! Bring balance!
To Dick Stack.
So even when he fixed his stutter, many people would disregard him as a speaker or commander of a room's attention, which came in handy when he would go into the debating society. He often spoke passionately about the rights of Catholics and Irish people, so much so he garnered a new nickname, the Little Jesuit of St. Omer's.
He must have been small.
Oh, you know, like about 5'2"-ish.
Every description you give of him, he's getting closer and closer to it just appearing to be 3 children in a trench coat.
Why did they think he was a Jesuit? And where is he from? St. Where?
It's St. Omer's was an expat college for Catholic teachings in Belgium and Holland back in the day, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that down because I knew he'd ask.
You know, something that is great about whenever you read old nicknames from history is like the burns, the requisite knowledge to even get the insults was insane. Like, you would have to know all that knowledge in a time when you've probably read 2 books in your life to even get why that's a sick burn on this guy, you know?
He went straight to the library, but they taking their notes and fucking records and stuff like, they got me, the bastards.
You might need to have to figure out your own insult. Somebody says something to you, and then you go off researching for years of like, what does this even, it's a bad thing.
Well, I think that it partly was, the St. Omer's thing, I believe, was something to do with the colour brown. And then I looked into that a lot, and they said that he liked to wear a brown coat.
As opposed to all the colourful folk I'm sure that were around in the 1760s.
Really twisted the knife in. They got him good. He would speak passionately about the rights of Catholics and Irish people in general. I already just did that thing.
Do it again, that was great.
Remember when I called him a little Jesuit?
Yeah.
But he would say, "Feck the begrudgers." He wouldn't let any of this dampen his confidence, not in a courtroom, the debating society, or in looking for love. He found a wife during his 2nd year of study, a Miss Sarah Cree. She was the daughter of Ireland's #1 physician. So she was rich, she was from Cork, and she was his cousin.
I was going to say, what's the catch?
Well, there's none. She's what we call in Cork City a slam dunk. The triple threat. You only have to invite one half of the family to the wedding, you're saving money. Cash. Bride or groom, it's just a semicircle. Don't worry about it. We should have skipped on the St. Omer's stuff to get to this.
He would use his wife's wealth to support the family until he was called to the Irish bar a couple of years later in 1775. And on the day of his first trial in front of the Chancellor, his nerves came back, and he had to hand over the case to one of his best friends. So he ran out of the courtroom basically. So he's gone through all of that work. He's read Shakespeare. It helped. Well, it didn't happen really.
That doesn't happen in the OJ trial, that kind of shit. You know, fucking the first day. No, fuck that. You can take this over. Something to do with the glove. There you go.
You can pretty much walk this home at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever
Honestly,
smoke break.
You'll be shocked. The glove thing works.
But they'd said that most of his problems with his speech impediment would come to the forefront in cases where it wasn't dealing with Irish nationalism, the rights of Catholics, and etc.
So it's when he didn't have the confidence to talk on those subjects.
Yeah, it's kind of like Gareth Gates and he's singing.
Yeah.
If you have to say etc. with a stutter, it can get quite confusing how many times you're saying etc. Or maybe it would.
So what I've been doing.
That's actually only one duh on the page.
It would also be annoying that, like, if he's taking multiple cases a day and he was supposed to be defending you for, like, your husband being murdered by a cop and your child being kicked off a cliff, and he's just like, fuck you, Jew. And then the next case up is like Irish land rights, and he's just there thundering out, elegant as fuck, nailing every point of it.
You need him to get you off a parking fine, and beforehand he's just like, and is there anything else you want to tell me? I really feel like, I was parking in the cause of Irish nationalism. I'm fucking
Are you man? Here we go.
So he was very passionate about his values and refused to back down when challenged on them. As was decided at the time, over the course of his life, he was involved in 5 duels, no deaths,
on any sides.
No injuries.
That's a great ratio.
Yeah.
Kill to death ratio.
Well, it's surprisingly common back then. I don't know what the hell they were firing at each other.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of stories like this where it's like, he was a well-known marksman, a jeweler, 25 years, 5 jewels, no deaths.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that brave.
No. Maybe they're all jewelers. They're just like good at diamonds.
Yeah. How you can kill people making diamonds as well, Kevin?
You can fucking make a killing making diamonds.
Oh.
There you go.
He was said to have been quite successful as a lawyer around Munster, within his first year making £100, his second year nearly doubling that and increasing year upon year after. An Irish emancipating wanton Corkman he'd meet you at 12 paces in a courtroom, he'd speak poetry and comedy, he'd pint like none of us, and he'd just in general represent the downtrodden and done over common Irishman.
Hey!
We all on board?
Yeah! It's
Sounds like
usually...
Neil Printable, actually.
Was he off with his cousin as well?
Probably, yeah.
I like how we've all just quickly burst that aside.
You'd find me one man that wasn't off with his cousin back then.
Is that why we all look like this? It is.
You have no glasses on.
What?
You have no glasses tonight.
I've no glasses tonight.
Oh, you just meant as a country. That woman landed in from Ohio and she's like, I met that man before.
But to prove his pint man credentials, he was a member of a society called Monks of the Screw, which was short for Monks of the Corkscrew. He was the prior of that. This is full of a lot of famous Irish people who just call themselves different things in the group, but it would just involve going to a pub on Kevin Street on Tuesdays and getting locked.
Which, I mean, like, if you took any lad's WhatsApp group now, and if any of them became...
Don't show the fucking...
But like in 200 years it was like, and they're all part of the Society of Pint Legends. March 2022, an ancient division. They held at roles Grandmaster Sesh and the Furious 5.
It was an offshoot from John Stagg, Estonia.
Yeah. Lost to the annals of time, no one quite remembers what happens to John Stagg, just the way he wanted it.
For some notable members, we've got Henry Grattan, James Barry, a heap of artists. You're familiar with his work?
Yeah. Great painter slash poet.
Yeah.
I like his earlier stuff.
Artists, yeah.
And then Dennis Daly of Daly's Club fame.
He's in tonight.
He wrote the theme song, but I don't know.
He sang the theme song.
He did. Yeah. I'm not going to go through it. It's way too long.
Are you Dennis Daly from from
The infamous Daly's Club.
They wrote the theme song to the group.
Yeah.
Monks Group. They had a theme song.
Yeah, the theme song.
Sing it.
Hold on. Let me see if Colin's free Wi-Fi.
No. Move on.
No, I'm in it now. I'm going to say it like a... Actually, no, we've a guess. You can sing it.
Oh, I'll sing it.
That's not what guests are for.
That's fine. What style do we want in, lads?
System of a Down.
Reggae.
I can't sing anyway, so it'll be spoken word. My new musical style, deadpan spoken word. It's my rap style. When St. Patrick this order established, already I hate this. He called us the monks of the screw. Good rules he revealed to our abbot to guide us in what we should do. This man is on point with the rhyming scheme. But first he replenished our fountain with liquor, the best in the sky. And he said on the word of a saint that the fountain should never run dry. I'm actually into this.
This is good.
Each year when you're octave, no, that's it. No. Once the word octaves and approach come in, you're like, you're not rhyming those easily. This goes off a cliff. There's like 3 more verses.
Sure, you started well anyway.
No, there's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'd say fair play to Roger. Well done.
Now, his speeches are known to have had a lot of wit and humour to them as well, with a lot of comedy writings and poems being quoted historically. I'm going to run through a couple of phrases and anyone shout if you've heard them before. I have never yet heard of a murderer who was not afraid of a ghost.
That would have killed with the reverb.
That's what it was there for?
No.
Assassinate me, you may. Intimidate me, you cannot.
Ah,
Fucking hell.
that's pretty good.
Evil prospers when good men do nothing. See? Yeah.
There's the ghost!
My dear doctor, I'm surprised to hear that you say I'm coughing very badly, as I've been practicing all night. When I can't talk sense, I talk metaphor. And Lord Byron, the sixth, he said that I've heard that man speak more poetry than I have seen written. Which just means he didn't read a lot.
No.
With all that said, big high-flying lawyer, you still need your OJ case. You know, the thing that's going to bring you big in the media. You need a big media trial, get a bit of clout. And that was something that was going to happen to him in 1780. 5 years into his law career, Curran gets the call to represent Father Neil, an elderly court priest who criticised one of his local parishioners for being an adulterer.
Oh.
Now this is going to take up just
before we get into it, I thought Father Neil, he was got in trouble for saying student Neil. I thought that was his issue, but that won't be for 100 or so years, I suppose. I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's what gets cut from the regular. That adulterer's sister was the mistress of St. Ledger, the first Viscount Doneraile, Lord Doneraile for short, a Protestant landlord and landowner. Now, usually they are. He demanded that Father Neil take back his slanderous statement, but when he wouldn't, he brought him to court, the People's Court of the time, aka having him publicly horsewhipped, which led him to be brought to the other People's Court of the time, court. Nobody else would touch the case because of the fact that he was a rich Protestant landlord. And he would have to represent a Catholic. So he steps up, tries this radical new legal defence that says, hold on now, let's try and come to a verdict on this case without just instantly calling him guilty because he's Catholic.
Oh.
And they try that.
This is like a hell of a Judge Judy episode.
Yeah.
She's sitting forward. Excuse me, you whipped this old priest. I'm on board so far.
So somehow
does
this
he
is
do
like,
a time to kill defense? Like, and what if he was Protestant? Not a dry eye in the jury.
you see Father Neil into like the we can't go into it too much.
Ah.
And remember Time to Kill?
Yeah.
And that's why we're not doing. Yeah. So he actually won somehow. This is one of the big cases at the time of a Catholic actually beating a Protestant or just a gentry member, and he would gotten the high number of 30 guineas.
Yeah.
That's
That's an awful lot.
what Roger took a euros for earlier on.
Yeah. Cork guineas.
They
There's
say,
Guineas here. But that's what I'm here for, lads.
There it
The two of them are like, geez, that really good.
Papa needs a brand new guinea.
so Doneraile, having lost this case, and pretty annoyed because he was like, well, it's never happened before where I didn't win just because of the fact I was Protestant. So he doesn't take this too well and then challenges Curran to a duel. I've already told you.
That's
I shouldn't have spoiled that in advance.
I wonder if this is one of his no deaths.
He doesn't die, but he doesn't also shoot. Doneraile shoots at him, and then Curran just goes, I'm going to be the bigger man for once.
And just walk away. Oh, okay.
Short joke.
I see. Went right over his head.
He shot him in the kneecap.
We're getting close to the end of the first half. Which is good.
Dying to pee.
Oh, that wasn't correct.
I wasn't
Actually,
saying that to you. In future, if anyone's going to, just let us know.
Is Donerail going to be in anymore? Because every time you say it, I keep singing the Simpsons song in my head. Donerail!
Well, no, this is the end of Donerail and the end of our first half.
You were very close then. You could have just fucking not shamed her.
No, basically he declined to fire, bigger man, walked away, and this went out all around the country as a pint-loving Catholic lawman who doesn't shoot. He's the bigger man. And then Karl Marx called him the greatest people's advocate of the 18th century.
What? Yeah. Have to be honest though, not much competition in the 18th century. A load of shitholes.
A lawman who refused to shoot another man, knight him.
So what could he do in the second half of his life to really improve things, Jerry? If we can just get things.
Kill Karl Marx. I don't know.
That would involve some kind of time travel.
But so what's the general rule of a successful lawyer or any job? Also in Ireland. Infidelity. His new job is infidelity.
Yeah.
No, it's a quick change of pace.
Politician.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, yes. So he goes on to be, that's just a setup for the second half. We're going to go into his political career.
He'll move to America and become a racist like the rest
He
of
will not. He will stay in this country and be a racist like
a homegrown
Church told him.
He started a podcast.
What was this, the break then?
This is our break before we get into the United Irishman, his some other parts of his law career, his political career, and eventual, no spoilers, death.
I really thought you were going to bring him in at the end.
We're going to wait a minute or two before we actually get back with the podcast. There's people outside ordering. That's not true, they're having smokes. We're already done with the pints. Everyone get pints? I got pints thanks to Durran. Like the Burren,
Like the word with a D.
but with a D.
And not spelled that way at all, but it's fine.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
No, it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, and I was talking to our Yank, Gretchen. Yeah. And then I found out that the man who, Orla, told me there that the man who invented the proper way to hang someone was from where I'm from. Which is lovely. Carlo's most famous thing. It's that and Sean O'Brien. Pretty much.
How does she know your dad?
He was also the man who helped them perfect autoerotic asphyxiation as well.
He was actually aiming towards that and it went too far one day and he was like, well, hang on. Let's not throw the baby out with bathwater.
Yeah.
There's someone on something here. Sure.
I'm going to just judge off the fact that they were getting to the very ends of their smokes.
Yeah.
And it's also, how many people? We're only missing a few people. I don't affect them. That's what you get. Smoking kills time on stage.
I should have. We'll designate one person. You there at the very. Oh yeah, actually you that looked up because the bees are talked to. Will you tell everyone that comes in what happened?
So Dick Stack.
The return of the stack.
Return of the Stack.
Yeah, I realised as soon as I said it, I could have sung that and it would have been funnier. But bollocks it and it's too late now.
You can edit it out.
Oh, don't worry. Well, you heard tonight, he wasn't joking there when he was like, that 4-hour podcast becomes a 1-hour podcast. This is, most of this will be cut. All of Roger's stuff, I'll steal. I'll re-record all his jokes and say it with my own. You know, the light switch is our, stuff like that reminds me of the time my dad was a ghost or something.
You're like jumbling it up, and then the laughs are still over the top.
Yeah.
Everyone listening's like, well, I guess that's funny, yeah.
We're missing Jerry.
Oh.
You can't start with
I'm not missing Jerry. I mean, what you mean to say is Jerry's not here.
I'm missing Jerry.
I like Jerry a lot, to be honest.
Jerry.
Don't tell him that, obviously.
I'm playing hard to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
Will we just keep doing that?
yeah. Now that's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's Jerry's fault for being too charming. He didn't leave any chance for the rest of us. Jerry can get on with the story.
Do you sing? Oh, I should have sang the last one. Why don't I just sing everything now?
Yeah, I agreed to go with my heart in the second one. I just keep singing things. So what's happened so far? He's a lawyer, everyone thinks he's cool, he's defending Catholics, he's from Cork, which they seem to like, and now he's getting into politics.
Yes, he enters the Irish Parliament in 1783, representing Kilbeggan.
Yeah.
That's not in Cork. That's not.
Hold on a moment! Oh shit! Where is
all
it?
along. This man's from Kerry.
Westmeath, is it?
What?
Kilkenny or something.
Kildare?
He's close. They've had the knock man.
Hey! Jerry! Jezza!
Jezebel. Great.
Wait, so hang on, let's not brush past the man who said, is it Westmeath Kildare? That's a fucking Leash, Ulster general direction. I don't think you know where Kilbeggan is at all.
Where is Kilbeggan? Where is Kilbeggan?
Oh, I don't know. But at least I am proud of my ignorance, as we should be. It's between Portlaoise and Athlone.
Yeah, it's
what you mean, heaven.
I read.
The promised land. You tweets who promised we wouldn't tell the outsiders about that. That's just for us, the chosen people. Cut this podcast.
So he represented Kilbeggan, Westmeath.
Hey! Sorry about that.
He had been offered a place in the Parliament at the time, but he didn't want to go along with whatever government I forgot to write down on my notes here. He said he was a man of his own convictions and courage and etc. I'll be an independent. And then they got back to him and said, what if we don't force any of that on you? And he's like, I will run with you for clout.
Excellent, yeah.
So he only did that for 3 years before switching it up to Rathcormac. That one isn't Cork.
Okay. You say you only did that for 3 years. Most people here haven't done anything for 3 years, ourselves included.
Well, no, we're getting close to, 12 weeks away from our 3-year anniversary.
That's the day I quit.
If we can make this podcast unreleasable, then you won't reach that.
That's the dream.
That's it, but also our big thing is we're just lying.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like we have a live gig for our 100th episode up in the Wild Duck in Dublin, down in Temple Bar, and we're like, it's our 100th episode. We're on 87, and we're not confident in getting to that. So.
You're one of the only non-sequential podcasts.
Yeah, but also he said 87. I don't know where he gets that number from. No one knows what we're on. 22? 92.
There you go.
How do you know that?
We've got fans. Why do you think we're on stage?
I'm pretty sure that's the tax man. It's like as soon as you hit 101, boom! So
while in Parliament, he spoke on Henry Flood's Reform Bill, 1783.
Nice.
And in 1785 was outspoken about more English stuff, and that led to him to have a quarrel with John Fitzgibbon, Earl of Clare, a friend of his who had previously funded his time in the Bar of Ireland. These friends took it outside, jukes up, 12 paces, and no one got hurt. Feelings got hurt. I was thinking when a friendship breaks apart. You can see it soon if he keeps interrupting.
I stopped myself from saying I've had many a friend who funded my time at the bar. I looked at Roger, we had a moment, and I let you go on with your story. All for naught.
So now it was during this time that even more of John's law clients were becoming, shall we say, in the Ra.
Of the Ra persuasion.
Ra adjacent.
Yes. Yeah. They were the eye.
So the United Irishmen would raise the cash for the cases when they could, but if they couldn't, John would be there regardless, often paying the fee.
Well, now, why bother paying him at all? That sets a bad precedent.
I know, yeah. So they tried to raise the money, but if they couldn't, he would just go anyway.
Yeah.
And also,
I'd say they stopped trying after a while.
yeah, so there was a fee at the time that you'd have to pay to actually defend someone in court, which is even worse then, because not only were they not paying him, he was paying the fee himself. So he was paying to work for the lads. He was seen as one of, if not the best lawyer in the country, unless it was in front of Judge Fitzgibbon from 2 minutes ago. Yeah, who was a big rival of his, and he would just not have any success in that court, which is understandable, I guess.
It's good that it was so transparent back then as well.
Yeah. You could do whatever you wanted back then.
Yeah.
Well, he shot at me. So given the time and what was going on in the country, Curran was a busy man with all the Ra activities, being referred to as, not by his own people, I would imagine, but the leading advocate of every murderer, ruffian and rogue villain.
Yes!
There
he is!
And rambunctious scamp.
Hey!
He wasn't the only one. There were a bunch of United Irish lawmen. They even had a room near the Hacienda opposite Green Street Court. I realise I'm not in Dublin. Do you know the Hacienda?
Yes.
Yes!
It's a very pretentious bar for wankers.
I never got in.
There you go, Chair.
Never got in.
Nice sidestep.
You've got to go knock. You have to knock on the door. They'll open up a small little peep-through thing, look you up and down, and then close it. Then you wait for about 5 seconds to see if you're cool or not.
I was never cool.
We knew that. That was.
But the trick is they let everyone in, but because there's like a little bit of a waiting period, everyone's like, it's so exclusive and cool. It's like a shit bar.
They don't
It's
let everyone
tiny.
in.
Sorry, Jerry.
What would you have to do to knock it into this?
So he was a lawman in the 1780s, was he?
They would have a specific place for coaching witnesses of trials. Now, Dublin Castle... Narcs. Yeah. But now Dublin Castle knew this, Dublin Castle being the bad lads at the time. They had their own room for coaching the opposite witnesses. At the time, I guess in Ireland, you only needed one witness. You don't need to corroborate anything. If you have one person saying, "No, I saw him do it," that's enough to go to jail.
Just be one guy would just say it twice, and they go, "Well, 2 people saying it."
Bring a mirror.
It's getting around now.
That's like my brother will appreciate this here front and center. I remember my mother was telling me that she was like, "Oh, I heard a rumor of a friend of mine that Michael Higgins is gay." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that as well." She's like, "Oh, that's 2 sources." And their sources weren't bad.
No smoke without fire.
Yeah.
I actually heard that as well.
Oh, Jesus. Confirmed.
That part has to be cut now.
He'll be on to us.
I cannot have those dogs sing.
Get him, boys. One for both of them. And he's there in like just fucking, he's dressed like Yamana from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Get him.
I'm not cultural enough to get that reference.
You're not cultural enough to get a Michael D. Higgins Rocky Horror Picture Show reference. Get up this thing. Get Roger the Mike.
Come on.
None of these highbrow.
Or these highbrow Rocky Horror Picture Show jokes.
Now to bring it down. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the office space, but not as bad as things at home were for young John Philpot Curran.
I thought you just started reading your emails.
Sorry, Jason, I can't make it to the gig tonight.
Not intention in the office space.
Regards, ma'am.
Now, he was obviously away from the house quite a lot, being a politician and a lawyer and an Irish revolutionary.
What a mix.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Like Jerry Adams. Jerry Adams never at home. Always out there with the people.
Well, they did it. You know that film, The Foreigner?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan being Jerry Adams. Yeah. They just openly say that Jerry Adams' missus is cheating on him. And it has nothing to do with any of Irish history. They're just like, this will really stick him.
That's a brave man. I wouldn't cheat. I have all the people who
You could cheat on.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with Jerry Adams' wife.
I cheat on Jerry Adams every night of the week.
Sorry, is that a good movie? Because I've always meant to watch it.
It's class.
Yeah.
It honestly,
It is.
All you heard was, there's a Jerry in it? I mean, what?
Sorry, I actually give it Jerry to Jay. It's on Jay.
Yeah, so this is sort of like a bit of rough for you, I suppose. Yeah, on the other side of the tracks, Jerry with a G. Oh, what will the parents say? When in Rome. That's what they'd say, I guess. I don't know.
I like the idea of Jerry at home and he's just done watching a documentary about Jerry Adams and he goes, oh, that was good. And then immediately switches over and starts watching like Drunken Master or some Jackie Chan movie and goes, Jesus, please just together. I would be, but only if I knew for sure it was good.
It's probably worth a watch. It's not great. 3 out of 5.
I liked it myself.
Yeah.
That was just a trailer though, to be fair.
We've got a film club behind our Patreon for this specific conversation.
We've only watched shite films so far. You know.
Now, him and his cousin have started to grow further apart.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're growing something else.
Oh, no,
Things weren't going well at home, but luckily him and his cousin had a side business.
The earliest grow operation.
Yeah.
Well, so they've had 9 kids, I believe.
Him and his cousin. Oh, sorry, his cousin's his wife. Sorry. Sorry. I forgot.
Stick with it.
I forgot what decade we were in. Sorry. And what county.
Cork.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
So him and his wife have started to grow further and further apart. You know, 9 kids, the magic isn't quite what it was before. Their 12-year-old daughter, who's historically is known as John's favourite, dies.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good reaction.
There you go.
She falls from a window of their house up in Rathfarnham.
Jesus, what a big house.
Yeah. Bit of a humble brag.
It's not a bungalow.
I won't tell you exactly how I joined it, but it was falling out of a window. Yeah. It wasn't the second story.
Yeah, we're talking second, third story.
I had to run all the way down by 4 sets of stairs to see the crippled body.
Well, he didn't take it well.
Is he not taking it as lightly as we are?
No,
Time he has all wounds, man. Get over it.
he went through a tough personal time that many people said that today would have been diagnosed as depression and bipolar.
It's very hard to know.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of one or the other.
Yeah. Historically speaking, I would just say his nerves were a bit bad.
It's funny, it does seem like a lot of anxiety issues and PTSD and depression and stuff are fairly new notions. Everyone had it back then. They just moved on. It was just like, when your kid fell out a window and it's traumatic, get the fuck back to work.
Was it the war?
Yeah,
it's probably the war.
Yeah, it's another. We'll send you off to war. That'll cure you.
Do you know Mary Shelley? Do you know her?
Yeah.
She wrote
Not personally, but
She won't return his calls.
Not that one. She wrote Frankenstein because her kid died.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Which, to be fair, if my kid died and I didn't write anything, I would feel shit. And I was like, that's what she got out of it. I didn't even get a good book out of it.
Although she was supposed to be writing the eulogy, and she got up and was like, I've done a little something different.
And just so you know, Frankenstein's the doctor. Just to put that to bed. Like my daughter.
If only she could race into it, yeah.
Do you know what?
Percy Shelley had to go up and follow it and was like, there's a man in a desert and box that was good. Percy Smash! That's some good literary stuff there. But, we really stumbled around Dick Stack there in the first half. This is glad now after a couple of drinks we've gotten more to our standard of comedy.
We're the only people who've gotten more hyper the drunker we've become.
Speak for yourself.
That's what we think.
Cheers to Curran for giving me a pint.
During, yeah, it's fine.
During what?
During. Kelly.
Oh.
No, during the break.
Hey.
I have noted that nobody else got me a pint. Specifically asked, I was like, surely 2 people will get together and do that. I'll get him a Beamish, I'll get him a Murphy's. Let's see what he says on stage after. But no, his daughter's dead.
Anyway,
This is all your fault apart from Durin. This is like a Goosebumps choose your own story. Jason hasn't got his pint, so now the daughter's dead. Misery ending in Bandersnatch. Let's go.
His wife, cousin, wasn't. His cousin takes this not too great either, and she's probably getting fairly teed off now with him moping around the house. So she falls into the loving embrace of Reverend Abraham Sandys. No, not good. It gets worse when you realise that he impregnated her.
that is bad.
That's not ideal.
That's bad.
Yeah, because if you get to number 9,
and you're.
and then he gets the 10th.
You don't even get one free.
Yeah.
One step away.
It's like losing it.
So he doesn't take this all too well. They elope. Curran, in a rage of fury and embarrassment, decides to settle things the old-fashioned way, like real men. He walks 12 paces away to him, goes to his desk, and then writes out a letter saying, "I'm suing you for criminal conversation," which is the 18th century word for writing my missus. Criminal conversation, just so you know. Just, you say that tomorrow.
Was so.
That's
yeah,
oh, sorry, go on.
no, you go on. You're the
I was
guest.
going to say that's the name of my thriller that I'm writing about having an affair with Jerry Adams.
So this is a man who he's been so this isn't one of his 5 jewels.
No.
Because we've come across other people before who love Julian. Was the handsomest man in Carlo, and there was Humanity Dick, who they jewel a man if he crossed his path. But then when someone runs off with their wife, he said, "Well, it was to the books. Litigation. I'll get justice the only way a man knows how. In court." One writes to see 5 of my 10 kids.
I don't know how many of them are left, to be honest. I just know that he's favourite's dead. It's in the hundreds in Ireland. There's no way he had 9 kids and only one of them died.
As soon as she fell out that window, all the rest of them were like, "It was Papa's favourite window. I too shall perch here, and maybe I shall be the one who's..."
So he filed the case on Valentine's Day. 1790.
Easy to remember the date.
Yeah, she'll know what she's done wrong now.
Yeah.
What a dramatic prick, you know?
Yeah.
Just in case she's forgotten. But now, so he did win. He got I wrote down pounds. It might be guineas. I'm not sure. But he got £50. A very small amount at the time, given the fact that it was a guilty verdict.
And his wife had gotten £50.
But
now we're back on. All those nerd references earlier gone.
But the low sum was due to Curran embarrassing himself on cross-examination.
His pants fell down.
No, they had already multiple times. His wife had basically said, "Well, what about all the times you cheated on me?" And he said, "Well, that's not what we're here to defend."
I'm not on trial here.
Didn't Oscar Wilde get... how he got outed is that he sued the guy for defamation. And that was, to be fair, that was ballsy of the
you can say many things about Oscar Wilde. You can't say he wasn't ballsy.
Yeah.
If anything is undoing.
He was like, I'll get away with this one, as he's snogging a lad.
Well, you go, because apparently, I don't know how true it is, but apparently what got him was he was being cross-examined for weeks and weeks, and eventually they mentioned some Porter boy that he was supposed to run off with, and he was like, "Gosh, I wouldn't run off with him, he was so ugly." But he wouldn't run off with him, he was cute. He's like, "Well, damn it, damn you!"
Sorry, are you doing Oscar Wilde soon?
Yeah, well, I haven't got a date planned, but if he's open.
It'd be like a 4-parter, I would say.
Well, because I wanted to do a 3-parter of politicians who ended up in lawsuits with poet figures. So Edward Carson, who was the sort of equivalent of the first minister in Northern Ireland, sued Oscar Wilde. And then there's John A. Costello against Patrick Kavanagh. And Patrick Kavanagh sued a magazine called Patrick Kavanagh, basically a miserable bastard. And he sued them for defamation and lost.
That's actually a harder case than the game one.
Well, prove you're not a miserable bastard. Exhibit A through Z plus. We ran out of letters, buddy.
You know it's going up to the court case. Oh, somebody's bought a copy of my book. Oh no.
No. But I can't find a third, and you need 3. So if anyone knows another politician who was involved in a lawsuit with a poet.
Well, Jerry Adams, he's going to sue me.
I meant a well-respected poet, Roger. What, did you turn Italian there for a second? He's going to sue me! He says my impressions are racist. When's the next flight back to London? What were you saying?
So the daughter was
I was saying,
dead daughter.
so he never saw his wife again.
That's a bad one.
Nice!
Yeah. So she runs off with the priest, never to be seen again. Now, so he's had 9 kids. One of the daughters, Amelia, she's very, I think there was one called Sarah as well. Sarah Curran, famous portrait artist. No. Amelia decides to start dating the rambunctious, the ruffian, another word starting with R, Robert Emmett.
Oh! Nice. A wooga!
What a heartthrob.
He soon took a new wife, tip woman.
Wait.
You're the only one.
No, wait, Robert. So this is Robert Emmett. Are you gonna do his story with Sarah?
No.
He failed miserably. He tried to do a revolution in Dublin, and it failed. And he was probably only 23, 24 at the time, and he was making his escape. He had a boat in the harbour, but he went back to see his girl, Sarah Curran.
Yeah.
And that's how they got him. And they hung him for it.
Are you going to cover what Imano did?
Who?
No?
Oh,
He actually...
hold on now.
Okay, I won Robert
Hold on,
Emmett.
everyone
Yeah.
just for a second.
No, this is what I was going to say something, because I studied history, but I only remember the silly bit.
Let's don't show off in front of us.
But the thing that I always remember about Robert Emmett is that was it the Young Ireland or
He wasn't the Young Ireland.
They invented a type of pike that you could fold up so they could keep it in their
Okay,
coats.
hold that thought.
Never mind.
Okay, we might get back into this.
Well, basically, he would have gotten away scot-free, but then he went back to see his girl, and they got him and hung him, and he died.
She must have been hot.
Oh yeah. From what we know of her father,
Stone cold. Rambunctious smoke show.
So this tip lady, Marion Fitzgerald, that's not your name, is it?
It is.
Now, so she gave him 2 kids, but it sounds like he got married just to have a wife for basically having extra kids and also to have a wife for political and work functions.
He's only got 9 kids. What do you want extra ones for? Oh, he lost some of them.
Do you remember that pesky open window?
He's replenishing kids in his new windowless house. Not falling for this again.
I found a nice 2-up, 2-down person living. No!
Just one all
2 up, no down!
Yeah. That was the score of kids at the end.
How many more dead kids can we get through?
Dead kids ranking.
So at this stage, he's a great lawyer, but a few bits and pieces have started to slip by, given his personal trauma.
Sure.
I don't know what happened so much. So in 1796, he lost an adultery case to the tune of. Do you remember when he won his and he got 50 quid?
Yeah.
So he's just lost the man who came to him 10,000.
That must be some serious affairing. If you're like, me. What was he up to?
Oh, it was the wife of the Earl of Westmeath.
To be fair,
Can't be at that. That's like, it goes. You can't be sleeping with Jerry Adams' wife, and then it's the Earl of Westmeath.
she was pretty hot as well, though.
Miss that loan.
Yeah.
4 years running.
So there was a man called William Orr in 1797.
William or what?
Oh.
We just keep moving along. I'm slowing you down with these great jokes.
William Orr was charged with administering the United Irishman Oath to 2 new members, a capital offence, which means, Kevin?
You'd be hung for it.
Here you go.
As the men of Carlo invented.
I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't think it's...
No, he's right. Men from Harlow aren't hung at all. That's a fallacy. Never been true. Continue on with your story, isn't it?
Oh, it wasn't true.
Smallest county, some regards.
A capital offence. While the jury found him guilty.
Was it a hung trial?
And the other one's called lowercase offences.
Is that a height joke or another Queen's joke?
Both.
Pick your pick.
The jury recommended mercy. Now he was guilty of so administering the oath, basically bringing people into the United Irishman. Curran tried to argue that the jury they were only gone for 11 hours coming up with this. He said, "I don't agree with it because they were all drinking whiskey, and one of the witnesses was lying." Now, he had no proof of any of this, but he'd get it postponed twice. Eventually, it didn't really matter because Orr was executed. But the slogan, "Remember Orr," became very prominent throughout Ireland.
It sounds like a threat.
Yeah, remember Orr!
What? To be hung as hell.
Yeah.
That became that was synonymous with injustice, and the press, a Dublin paper at the time, a United Irishman publication printed by Peter Finnerty, was charged for seditious libel in December, a month after the execution. He had said that it was ridiculous, basically, what happened to Orr. Now, luckily, he knew a good lawyer. So Curran and the boys, remember him from the rest of the podcast? Yeah, him and the boys all get together, get the band back together. They go to court, they fucking lose. But they really tried. They gave it their all. Finnerty was imprisoned for 2 years and was also sent to be pilloried for at least 1 hour.
Yeah. For anyone not familiar with pilloried, it's what happens in the St. Anne's Square every hour here in Cork.
I don't know where St. Anne's Square is.
No, I'm thinking there is no St. Anne's Square, is there?
Oh, not to my knowledge.
Where are your
pilloried for getting
Jerry, where are your stocks? Don't say Dogecoin.
I would think Red Abbey is like really close. It's like 2 minutes away.
Okay. So let's say Red Abbey. He was pilloried in Red Abbey. Now, some people criticise Curran's handling of the case, saying he was more interested in complaining about the treatment of Orr in the previous case than winning this one. But never mind that, because he almost instantly resigned from government.
Okay.
Saying that this country's gone to the dogs. I think he said he couldn't prevent a rebellion or bring any peace through government. So him and a load of the lads all stepped down, which leaves him wide open in January the next month, 1978, to defend that Patrick Finney, not Finnerty, who we just heard of him. New man.
A different
What a
fellow.
strange name. Yeah, Patrick Finney Newman.
That can work. Patrick Finney, a United Irishman charged with, again, giving the oath. So high treason, once again, looking for the death penalty. Dublin Castle informant James O'Brien says that he met Finney. Yeah, Dublin. And the castle and tents, but also
and the tents
Dublin,
as well, yeah.
So James O'Brien's an informant up there. He says he met Finney pints. You know, I said it like that. I've had too many, is why. They had a bunch of pints, and then they, as you do, joined the revolution.
Listen, I mean,
common, I guess.
I've done that a few times.
Very,
absolutely.
again, don't say it out loud. That's the first rule of the Fight Club. Don't say you're a member of the United Irishmen.
yeah. I woke up with a home rule badge on my jacket the other week.
That's true.
Yeah, I know.
So they said that so he joins the revolution, and he said that then, once inside, they bring him to a bunch of meetings, he spies on everyone, informs on them all, and then Dublin Castle come calling. So this is Curran's main, we haven't really talked too much about his political style. It's sitting the person down in the booth in front of them, and then just destroying their character.
He was a roast comic.
This guy.
He's like, where are you from? Carlo? Small dick?
How many kids have died?
I saw him murder my father in front of me. Oh yeah, with your tiny dick. Whoa!
He was doing your dad a favor.
But he says
Throw this case out.
of James O'Brien, he went up and said that if you want to listen to him, you're also listening to a man who impersonated a revenue officer. Because he would do that to extort local grocers. He owed people money. He was blackmailing an old lady, and he knew a way to forge copper into silver coins.
Alchemy, what?
Handy.
Yeah.
Curran called him a cannibal informer, greedy after human gore, with 15 other victims in his sight. It took the jury 15 minutes to acquit Finney.
The last one was 12 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's some reduction.
Yeah.
The guy just like, Finney was just like, I asked a woman for change of a fiver once, I don't know.
You never paid it back. They dropped the case, and then that also meant that they dropped the case involving every other United Irishman who was at one of those meetings.
Oh. What a slam dunk.
Yeah, this made Curran a big name again, big time.
Yeah.
He'd already had his OJ case, now he's back again with this one. O'Brien, by the way, little segue, was publicly shamed, load of songs written about him, everyone called him a prick, and then he killed a man 2 years later, which I imagine was
Because he got
related.
yeah. Called him a prick.
Or did he fall out a window? Or?
No, so he was brought up in court, and Curran didn't defend him, and he died. So they hung him for that, I guess. Yeah, is that right?
That's a happy ending anyway.
Yeah, sure. Put a bow on it.
Oh yeah, I should say at the time, because he won't come up again, but Major Sir, the man involved, the major who was raiding all the lads, he tried to prevent the death there of O'Brien. He had a real problem with Curran, who would later sue Major Sir because of the wrongful imprisonment of all of these United Irishmen, who definitely were United Irishmen.
We just don't know.
That's the thing about history. Sometimes you just can't ever.
Yeah, listen, it's beyond reasonable doubt. We just don't know.
So after the 1798 rebellion failed, there was a few ringleaders. Boo is right. There was a few ringleaders tipping about. The English wanted to round them up and give them the full brunt of the law. Now Curran, again, busy boy. He was arrested himself during just after this rebellion. Later freed when they found out that they couldn't prove any of that. There are less and less acquittals in the next few months, like he's just had. So now the pressure and the workload start getting to him. Basically, everyone who gets brought up for trial now gets executed because you're like, you got away with that one.
This is the third act of the next Netflix series where everything's going wrong for him.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all going good for you, Curran.
Yeah. The hero's journey never takes an upturn at the end. It just keeps pounding to the ground. Which is true. We're nearly at the end of it now.
All these men found with guns standing over a body shouting, I told you to get out! They were suddenly found guilty for some reason.
Most notably, the trials of the Shears brothers, Henry and John, and Oliver Bond. His name was Oliver Cromwell Bond, so Oliver Bond it is.
The name's Bond.
Oliver Bond.
The I was not expecting that.
Like it's shaken, not a United Ireland.
The brothers thought they'd convinced a man
Sheer madness.
called
If anyone
Captain,
remember what the name was, it was pretty good.
Captain Armstrong. Yes, so they'd convinced a man called Captain. They thought they'd convinced a man called Captain Armstrong to defect from the English, join the rebel cause. But instead, he decided to tell his superiors and arrested every single man involved.
That's the exact opposite of what they thought.
Which is, though, that's on them.
Yeah, that is on them. And you're going to defect. Yeah.
And where will you be? Oh, we'll be over here.
You're writing an awful lot.
What are all the secret? Just want to make sure I got all the notes.
Yeah.
What are all the secret passwords again?
He's wearing a big sombrero with a camera.
Union Jack on the back.
Yeah.
So they had little hope in court as the evidence was overwhelmingly against them.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
That's dreadful when that happens.
It also doesn't seem to have stopped them before, though.
Yeah. You're in a case, you just go, how's the evidence?
Yeah.
Overwhelming. I'm listening.
In my favour.
No, the other one. Shit. It seems like, but like based on his previous, he would have just walked into court and was like, "Oh, I saw the evidence of the week at a Dublin GAA match." Oh, boo!
Now see, it would have worked. Only the judge in this case.
Oh, he's
Fitzgibbon!
Ah.
So we all laugh because the two lads are executed.
Damn.
Also, Fitzgibbon at the time was courting Henry Shear's wife.
That
Nice.
never
Which-
goes in your favour.
No, yeah, that's a conflict of interest, I think they say.
It is.
Yeah.
If you know the defendant at all, if you're trying to write his missus, you can't.
It's usually bad.
It's
Yeah.
in question 2 in the jury form. You should write the judge's missus.
Now, it's all too much for Philpot. He decides, after having stepped down from, it's only about a couple of years beforehand, he's just left Parliament. Now, at this stage, he's seeing most of the lads, he's not saying he's friends with them, he just defend them in court for free. But he's seen a lot of those fellas be hung. So he's like, it's too much for me, I'm going to go relax, get away from all of this. So he moves to England. And then gets about 4 months of just like nice, tranquil, serene, quiet. And then Theobald Wolfetone is captured in November.
That's pretty much what happened when I moved to London. It wasn't exactly that, it was the pandemic, but it's close.
There's a member of the Wolfetones was stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very hard.
Roger had to come down and defend him.
Yeah. I lived in a travel lodge for 2 weeks. It's neither here nor there.
It's in London.
Yeah.
So that doesn't go too well for him. Out comes the bat signal. Curran has to fly home, defend his friend, or not friend, but friend. Unfortunately, nothing he tries works, and Wolfetone is executed in December, the month after. He'd already tried to get back into politics by this stage, Curran that is, but having been elected for Banagher,
Nah.
that in Cork.
What's he running on a platform now of getting lads executed?
Yeah.
Remember when you voted for me when I was doing well in court? What about now when all these men are dying?
But he got in through Banagher, only the Act of Union came in a couple of months afterwards.
Ooh.
Which no booze for the Act of Union. That was the one thing we're like, oh, let's see how this works out. It's like,
Oh, do you not know we're big Active Union fans in Cork? We actually want to separate, we're monster separatists, and then reform the Active Union. That's our big political...
Scotland, England, Cork, fuck Wales.
Yeah.
he at this stage thought about heading off stateside, but decided not to. And then by the time 1803 came around, there was a rebellion with Robert Emmet,
His daughter's lover.
who he'd already disowned. He disowned his daughter for dating Robert Emmet.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
why? Because he...
I think by this stage he was so fed up with people saying he was in the United Irish,
Right.
because of he was in the United Irish.
Someone say something about Jerry Adams earlier on.
Yeah, it's like if you were saying that you weren't a member of the IRA and then Jerry Adams' daughter you were going out with her.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, I can see a connection here. All of a
Sure,
sudden.
yeah.
So he's pretty pissed off about this, and he's also he's gotten over the idea of like Irish nationalism now because he said, well, it's just not going to fucking happen. That's why he stepped down from politics. He's basically stopped defending lads in court. He's known to cry at dinner tables when the idea of Irish politics is brought up.
That is hard to deal with. I'm just putting together a dinner party, honey. Who are we going to bring? I was going to bring Curran. No. He lost the episode of Come Down With Me. He was on as well.
So now we'll get back into spears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the spears.
I can't remember. No, that they invented a form of like pike. That could be. Is it where you're on?
No.
Yeah. They could be. It always stuck out to me. Well, because it was a pike, but they could. It was like a foldable pike, so they could keep it within their like trench coats. Yeah, it was like the equivalent of a Glock back then. And you were like, don't mess with me. And then he puts it on you and goes, I can move some amount of silage with this.
But some lads be holding it sideways.
Don't take me. So basically, when that happened, he'd already disowned his daughter. He wasn't a fan of Emmett. And then, he also got wrongfully arrested again after this rebellion. He wanted to go talk to Lord Kilwarden, a man he'd hit up before during Wolftone's trial, because he was good friends with him, but on the opposite side. He couldn't do that this time, though, because Kilwarden had died by getting a spear into the chest.
There we go. And it was, there were people tying it back to me, but the evidence was overwhelmingly in my favour.
A strong alibi. Was born 100 years later.
That's a really strong alibi.
He still worked a few cases over the next few years, but really the fire in his belly was gone. And after he got a job as the Master of Rolls in the Irish Chancery, which was a high-paid job that he himself said he had no reason to do or to get in the first place.
It was in a Centra, wasn't it?
Yeah. Spicy you're playing every day.
Working in the Delican.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't prestigious.
That's a man with notions now.
It really is, though. He's getting given $3,000 a year at the time. So that's like the equivalent of
€1 billion.
More than any of us have. That he said all he has to do is sit there. He's like, it's not prestigious enough. I don't like it. So he didn't really do much. He lived in St. Stephen's Green for a couple of years before heading off on the dinner party circuit in England until he had a stroke. And then
what the hell? Having a stroke. That's particularly
not that kind of
stroke.
Offensive.
And then he was buried in Paddington Cemetery, London, before being moved to Glasnevin Cemetery up in Dublin, where all the famous ones.
If they had just went straight from there to Stephen's Green, they would have saved the trip.
And you can still find. There's a bust for him up in St. Patrick's Cathedral up in Dublin. But if you want to find him in Glasnevin Cemetery, just go look for the 8-foot tall sarcophagus.
He's in a sarcophagus.
It was the style at the time.
In Egypt, maybe.
It was catching on. It never really got there in the end. I'm thinking of being buried in that actually.
What's the rent like in that?
It's quite reasonable for London, honestly.
Any questions?
Is that the end of the story?
It is. I told you before we started started this, it was like it's going to be a lot of fun stuff, and then the last couple of years are just. And now we're here.
Sorry, when are you doing Michael Collins? You did the
question is, why did you do Michael Collins?
I
don't know what you did, Cork.
I can do it.
He was your boy. I don't know. We watched the film a while ago.
Yeah, the problem is with doing serious subjects is that if you do stuff no one's ever heard about and no one really cares about, you don't get called on your show.
What about Curran? He was a serious person.
Was he, or did he even exist? By the time you look him up, we'll be long gone.
Had anyone here heard of him before? No. See?
Well, there's a man that was over there, but he seems to have left. He told us that there was a new street named after Curran that is just opened up recently.
Yeah.
Shanty Street or something like that.
No, it's called Curran Street.
We're just off of Shanty Street.
Near there.
Yeah.
Which is a nice way of saying we don't know the answer to your question.
But we'd love to hear more of your vague literature to hand out after the slap. That's a great connection. Where did you read that? What part of the dark web?
I heard that the Irish Republican Brotherhood was a prelude, and that the Islamists got inspired off the Irish revolutions.
Oh yeah.
No, I've heard that.
Could have taken a few hints about phone in the head.
To be fair, right, I will say that to be fair, that's bullshit. No. No. Because what I
You
was.
can call that bullshit.
No.
Like there's in Curran you have the Bobby.
The Bobby Sands.
This was
Yeah.
Watching what happened in Ireland under a microscope.
No, I was going to say that to be fair, there is actually a lot of historical links of rebel movements in the Middle East being incredibly inspired by the by Irish revolutionary movements.
Yeah.
And
It's not just a coincidence. I don't.
No, yeah, sure. Bin Laden had a letter he'd never sent out to the Irish people, saying,
Really?
"Jesus, he loved terrorism as well."
I would have loved to go for pints with thee, but it was against my religion.
I was in Tehran. I stood on Bobby Sands Street. No, I won't. That's what they told me to do. I said, no, sir. Because the British embassy in Tehran, the capital of Iran, was on some street, and after it's the fucking anniversary was there the other day, at the start of the hunger strikes. When Bobby Sands died, they renamed the street name to Bobby Sands Street. So all the posts for the British embassy had to go to like number 1 Bobby Sands Street.
They made a new street.
Yeah, they closed up the wall on that side and opened the door on the other side. I have my photos taken outside that.
And the burger shop.
Yeah, and there's a burger shop in Tehran named after Bobby Sands Street. Why you'd name a burger shop after a man on a hunger strike? No one knows.
Bobby Sands is just an empty box that comes. That's the combo deal. It's a load of shit in the box.
They have that book, The Hungry Caterpillar, over there, but it ends differently. Well, that was a good derailment.
Do you know, I met a man recently at a gig. This is true, and
they didn't believe you at the start.
The rest is made up. But I met a man recently at a gig over in London. I was emceeing a gig, and I was chatting to a guy, and I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm originally from Iran." And I was like, "Oh, well, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be on what you do for a living, anyway." And got chatting to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, I used to be a tank operator in the Iranian army." And I was like, "Oh, fucking shit." I didn't say that to him. To him I said, "Oh, you're lovely, brilliant, I love you." And then I said, "Geez, that must have been tough." And he goes, "Oh, best years of my life." And then he just took a swig from a thing of whiskey. I thought, well, I'd say you're probably not. Yeah, there's a reason you're here.
Yeah, there's a change of direction.
Yeah. And he said he was very inspired by the IRB. So.
I'll give you one hint then. When we finish up on this, one tip I learned from over there is this, like is this the equivalent of this in like Iranian culture. The thumb up is the equivalent of the middle finger, which meant that when me and my friend were trying to hitchhike around the place, the fucking nightmare. But that's probably it for John Curran. Except,
do you mind if I plug a few things?
No, yeah. We should end it professionally. You start.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so hello, by the way, everyone.
Roger, we forgot to
introduce myself. I'm Roger, and I was very inspired by the IRB. This is the IRB Anonymous. It's been X number of days since my last revolution. I really went off the wagon the other day.
You can't spell Islamic fundamentalists without fun.
And then also, if you could follow me on Instagram, because me and my comedian housemate are launching a podcast soon, which I know you're a fan of that. And it's called Unexplained Legends, and it's going to be, I'm a big conspiracy nut, and my housemate is not. So
this is the first episode on the link between the IRB and
that's behind the paywall. And we're open for
which wall?
So So yeah, so if you could follow me on Instagram because it just I like looking at numbers going up. So,
You want to tell them your Instagram?
my Instagram is @IRB.
Big round of applause for Chris O'Leary who had us here tonight.
And cheers to yourselves for supporting the right cause.
That's for Roger Sullivan.
Who flew all the way to London to make this.
And that's the end of the show.
Yes. Oh, yeah, t-shirts for 15€.
If you want to buy us a pint, actually go on.